Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Fire Station Building Committee meeting of Wednesday, May 29th at 6:30 at the Lakeville Police Station. LakeCAM is recording. Is anybody else here recording? Okay, so I'm going to call this to order at 6:32. And if we can just rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So how was everybody's weekend?
Pretty good.
Good. Weather's on our side now, and I feel like
Hopefully.
we just got through that ugly winter stretch, and we can all take a breath now.
Thunderstorms tomorrow.
Really? Great.
And I've got a downer.
Yeah, right? Thanks. Well, so there are a couple of members that reached out today that were unable to make it to the meeting this evening, but we do have a quorum, so we will continue on. So I'd like to hand this over to Taylor at this time. I know we've got some updates, and we can dive right into a few things.
Sure. So, first, the video for the chief went live. Hopefully everybody had a chance to take a look at that. Shows the station and, all its glory. So, it's very eye-opening when you're watching it. So, I think that worked out well. And I know the chief posted it, or the fire department posted it, I think on their Facebook page. We've posted it on our social media as well too. So, it's good to circulate if you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, please do.
Plan on doing it as well. And Christina, did we get that up on the website as well? Yeah. So Christina's been, pretty much right on top of that too. So, it's getting out there.
And the open house is scheduled for this Saturday.
Yep.
Was it 10 to 1?
10 to
Correct?
1.
Yep. So that's good to know too. We'll, post that as much as you can, give some updates. I saw that again, the fire department's Facebook page has posted some stuff on that too. So that's great. Yep.
And all the members, I'm planning on stopping in on Saturday if you're available. Great.
That's about noontime today. I didn't see it on the town's website. Did that get up? You know?
It's not on the town website, no.
Okay.
I don't think it's on the Facebook page either.
Well, we need to get that up there.
Yeah,
It's on the fire department Facebook page.
right, but I don't think it's on the town's Facebook page.
No,
So
we definitely.
Tracy.
So I know that she knows about it, and I know there was some back and forth about it, what she was calling it, but
I answered some questions from her.
I'll check in with her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Mike will be able to help clarify anything too. So, yeah, we need definitely to get that up there. And,
I'll tell you, Facebook and website, the open house and the video.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Has there been any update on getting on the private property to finish up the survey?
I think there was supposed to be a letter that came out or went out the day after last.
Okay.
Whether that happened or not, I'm not sure. I was willing to go over and.
From who?
I was willing.
Who was gonna write the letter?
Huh?
Who's gonna write the letter?
I don't know. I'll have to watch the video. It was somebody said they were sending a letter out. I'm not sure who it was. I'm happy to go over there and bang on the door and ask for permission.
It's not holding anything up right now. It's just, the sooner the better when they can get out there and just finish it up.
Yeah.
So I think once we have a finished plan, then it'll be helpful for when we're submitting, and trying to get the stream, change where they're going to want to see a full survey over there. So.
Yeah, we can definitely touch base on that too. Move that piece right along.
Yeah. Really, the main point of tonight was I passed out a PowerPoint that we drafted up. We met kind of like as a subcommittee, myself, Lorraine, Nate, Bob, and the chief to talk about kind of what it needed to entail. So we thought a good idea would be we would put something together and then come and sit with the committee and get your thoughts, comments. This is just draft, but this is what will be used for town meeting purposes. So the presentation, we kind of all decided that would be best to be given by the chief. And he volunteered as well, which was great. So, so we tried to, the PowerPoint basically kind of walks through what the project phases are, obviously what the building's gonna look like, the site, response time, what you're getting in design development, and then, you know, at the very end, the cost and, you know, the tax calculator, if we can get that on there too. So,
That we don't have, but,
Yeah.
but we did have a brief discussion about that I can update this committee on.
yep. Okay. Yeah, go for it. If you want to
So,
update that now, that's fine.
So Bob, myself, John Oliveri, who's the chair of the assessors, our Erica, who's our treasurer collector, and our representative, David Goldman from the assessor's office. You know, we looked at putting, I tried to take a screenshot of the email, but this phone is old. I was like, it's not clicking, it's not working. But I did flag the email, so I'll just read what it says here. So what we did was we threw in, now I gotta find the email. So we did a 20-year note, assuming a 6% interest rate. In 2024, the average single family home value is $550,500. The average 2024 tax bill is $5,807.78. So the impact to the tax bill for, I think he plugged in 19.5. I think
Yes.
that was the number. So the impact would be 78 cents per thousand. So it comes in to roughly $426.77 increase for the average single family home for the year.
That's 6%.
Correct. So there was caution in the wind. Oh, and Todd was there. I'm so sorry, our town
Yeah.
accountant. I knew there was somebody sitting right there. So he did throw caution into the wind that depending upon the time that we would actually go out to secure the bond, it could be 2027, 2028, not knowing what the rates are going to be at that time. You know, we don't know who's going to be sitting in the house at that point. If it's, you know, you just don't know. But this was something that, you know, would give people an idea, you know, should the question come up, you know, what is the impact going to be when we get to the, you know, to this third phase.
Yeah, it gives them a good idea at this point. Obviously, the plan is, and I put that in the design development slide, is that really the whole point and process of design development is to refine that design and refine costs and, you know, find cost savings and look for, you know, value engineering and try to work the number down. You know, just, we're just looking at it right now as, you know, such a snapshot in time of the project that it's, you know, early schematic, the systems haven't been fully designed yet. So it's really, you know, a best guesstimate at this point. You know, even though we have a professional cost estimate, there's a lot of contingency built into that number. So after we go through design development and have another estimate, then you're really going to start nailing down that number and have a better idea.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
And there's still a significant balance in the capital stabilization fund of $2.5 million, maybe 2.8. So maybe some of that could be used to lower the amount. But again, we're not going to know until you permanently borrow, like Todd said, when the project is done, completed. That's when you usually go out to you know, long-term debt. So again, who knows what the interest rates will be.
So hopefully, you know, for all of our sakes, that, you know,
Yeah.
even for this project, that it, you know, will drop down some. But,
Do you guys do any marketing as far as the projected tax burden for a homeowner? You know, do you ever say it's $35 a month or $1.14 a day? You know, like
Yeah.
less than a couple.
Whatever
months,
the-
you know.
Whatever the tax information we get from
Yeah.
the, you know, the town detective, you can break that down into
Make it more palatable.
months, days.
Yeah.
But the focus for the June meeting is just the 655.
Correct.
It's not really, if we're asked, obviously, we have to address it, but the focus is on the 655. That's what the article is. And Lorraine, I emailed you today that the legislature changed and they filed an amendment to stabilization, to capital stabilization funding, which this money is coming out of. It was 2/3, but now it is a majority vote, which is good.
Wow.
So that will
And
be
that's in
helpful.
effect now?
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
Bathtub up there.
So,
yeah, apparently.
what's that?
I have a lot of influence up there.
Yeah. So it'll be a majority vote, the 655, not 2/3. So that's good.
That's good. And we'll leave the 2/3 to zoning. So this, so I was going through this, and it flowed very well for me. I got just some grammatical stuff, but, other than that, I just,
Yeah, I figured we could walk through it, I was just kind of completing things up to today. That's why I didn't, send it out sooner, but, we don't have to get it in until the 4th, I believe, Christina. That was when you, drop dead date? Or you-
Yeah, it was, so it needs to be able to print by the end of that week, so whatever that Wednesday is.
Oh, okay. I think that is the 4th.
4th or 5th, so yeah, right
Good.
around.
Fifth is Wednesday.
So, I wanted to actually run through it with the committee, if there's, questions, comments, are we going in the right direction, the wrong direction? I think it's good to kind of hash some of it out now, and then obviously, if you sit with it, and you want to send some more comments, feel free, we'll finalize everything by the 4th.
Okay.
And, I'll send it around to everybody so everybody can kind of bless it, so. All right, so just starting with the first slide, this is just, Chief, when you're doing this, you're just gonna go through and say, these are the things we're gonna talk about really as we go through this PowerPoint. The only thing I just added right now would be in that 4th box, goals, outcomes, costs, and I put also tax impact there too, so people know that is coming.
in which box was that?
The bottom one, so where it says goals, outcomes, costs.
Oh, see,
Yeah, I added tax impact just now.
Okay.
As we were talking. The other question I had was Lakeville Fire Headquarters project update. We want to call it anything different? Do we want to, is that fine?
Where's that?
on the front
The
page.
front page, right at the top.
Lakeville Fire Station.
Right at the very
Black
top.
letter-
It says Lakeville
I'm looking at the bullseye.
Fire
Black letters at the top.
Headquarters.
Yeah, we don't really call it headquarters or.
So that's sometimes do you call it
Fire station.
Fire station.
fire
We
station?
always call it station, yeah.
Okay. And what I'll do is I'm doing kind of like live updates now. I'll send it out around another draft tomorrow to everybody.
And I'll give you mine.
Yeah.
when we're done.
Any other comments on this one?
No. I see everything now.
Matt, you got something?
I was just asking, would it make more sense to be 2024 annual town meeting instead of annual 20? I don't know what the technical name for the,
I
Oh, I see.
got that from
okay.
Lorraine. Lorraine told me that wording, but if it is
I did?
20, yeah.
Oh, I just,
No, that I don't know if it is supposed to be 2024 first and then, or,
No, annual town meeting 2024. I think that's probably,
okay. Put the 24 on the end.
no, I think, yeah, because I think we kept saying spring town meeting, and then I sat there and I'm like, wait a minute, because it used to be spring, right? And then now it's like in the summer. I was like, well, it's the annual town meeting, so
I know,
I guess
it's-
it could be annual.
Every
It's
town's
annual.
like that. It's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
All right, I'm on the second slide now.
Oh, yeah. I like what you did at the bottom with the color code.
Yeah, I thought that would just be easier for people to see, to break it out. And I don't have the costs on this slide. I pulled them off. I had the costs before, but I have them at the end now. just because I thought it would be easier. And Chief, I can jump into this slide and walk through this process.
That would be more comfortable. with that.
Yeah, and just explain, or the design team can explain it too, but we can explain what each one of these phases are. You know, we just completed schematic design. You know, it shows when we started, where we are now, how long really phase 2 would be, and then phase 3 would be kind of that final ask of construction documents through construction.
I would just update this green box for phase 3, because people are gonna look at this and see phase 3, construction documents through completion, and be like, oh, we're gonna get our fire station by July of
Yeah,
2025.
that blue
So,
box needs to
yep.
be green. That's a good point.
Or if you wanna leave construction documents, then put construction in the blue box, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
Or just keep it all green.
I think I will do something like that. Can you just take that note? It's not letting me edit
Yep.
it right now, but
You have to teach me how to make one of those, it's cool.
I grouped everything together, so it's not letting me change one thing right now, so I have to ungroup it. I'm not gonna plot it on now. The next slide, I'm getting more detailed visuals from Kyle at Secotio. I just use this kind of as a placeholder right now. He's gonna give me some better blow-ups, so they can see the station and the floor plans a little bit better. So this slide will probably turn into 2 slides. One of, you know, kind of the rendering, and then one of the floor plans.
What's the QR code go to? Our website?
That QR code goes to the town's
The
website
town's
right now.
website.
Yeah.
I mean, if, I would prefer go to the website, the website that Molly is working on, you know, eventually.
It will, yeah.
Yeah.
We actually, for this, I mean, we can probably even take it right off this, but it will go to the new website. So this slide could either be myself or Secotio. You can talk to this quickly. I'd probably have Secotio talk to it. Kind of talk about the materials, the makeup, floor plan, the size, you know, kind of quickly run through it, not run through the whole building. The next few slides we got from the chief. Chief, I'll let you kind of talk about these.
It's kind of anticipation of some of the questions we may get about why we're selecting the location we're selecting. And for me, you know, a lot of old timers, they basically, you know, 20 years ago, we didn't use mutual aid unless something incredible and awful was happening. And now it's like, you know, we've used mutual aid and gone mutual aid twice already today. It's a daily event. And so when we're basically a regionalized fire service, we share resources every day. And these are our primary mutual aid partners. So when you deploy a fire station, when you position a fire station, you take that into account, because they go to every one of our fires or our serious medicals, or anytime we're out of resources. This is where our resources are coming from. That's something that the town should be aware of.
What I said was, when we were going through this, it's kind of interesting how except for the one, you know, kind of far east, all the other stations are, you know, appear to be pretty equidistant to the central point of the proposed location, which I think is cool.
As a side note, and then I'm not going to bring it up, we're in the process of formalizing these automatic aid agreements, and it also has an effect on people's homeowners insurance. So instead of the Lakeville Fire Department station being their calculator for their premium, it'll become their closest fire station. It'll become Freetown. So, you know, like anybody who lives around Aponequid High School, they're 2 miles away from a fire station in Freetown. That becomes their primary fire station as soon as these agreements are formed. So that's one of the things I'm working towards. It's going to need select board help.
And so that's a savings on their homeowners?
Significant savings. They'll go from an ISO 10 down to a 4.
That's good to hit on the presentation.
Yeah, that should be on the presentation.
Next slide, Chief.
All right, so one of the things with the repositioning of the fire station further north, all of our hotspots, all our frequent destinations for responses, not all of them, but the majority of them are in the north end of town. And so, you know, these calls, these boxes represent you know, almost 55% of our total call volume just contained within these 20 little, you know, regions that are captured. And it's pretty obvious that all the significant ones are in the north. And we just received a document today estimating that the call volume for the Lakeville Hospital property is going to be well over 200 calls per year. So that's another add-on to you know, to the north of our current fire station.
Is there some reason why they were green and blue? Or
I just basically north and south of the station. I can change that very easily though.
Suggestion,
Yep.
you may want to subtotal these, like for the average person to look at all these boxes and these numbers. If you're trying to illustrate, you know,
Yeah.
the north end of town is, I don't know, 300 calls, whatever that adds up to, and the southwest is only 50 calls. Have a subtotal, so it kind of,
I was, to be honest, this slide was almost like an either or for me. Like, do you like this slide or do you like the next slide? The next slide is the one that divides it by percentage of our response. Like, I think it's kind of duplication of information almost. And
it's the same thing.
and the one after it is a little more simple for people to consume.
I would keep both in. I think it works perfectly like that. I might even, you know, add in the calls on this slide too, but, when you look at all the blue and all the green, you know, people can see their neighborhood. And then, you know, when you go to the next one, it's like, bam, you know, 72% versus 28.
Mm-hmm.
Can you add the proposed fire station location to this map?
Which one? Which map?
Yeah, well, probably the first one would get lost behind all the boxes, but I was thinking
Yeah.
on the percentage one.
Yeah, I can figure out a way to do it.
and just
It just
consistency,
seems like it would be
yeah.
helpful for people who don't have a really good handle on the layout of the
Where-
town.
Right.
So, I mean, if we're building a fire station, it's a tool to deliver services, and if 72 responses and increasing, you know, of our responses to the north of our current fire station, it should make good sense that if we move the fire station,
Further north.
you know, further north, we're gonna be doing the most good for the most people.
That, yeah,
And we're not leaving the southern end of town exposed because we have mutual aid agreements with existing partners.
and you're not moving it that far. But
No,
you are
we're not.
moving it
So,
slightly further
you know,
north.
we're not abandoning the south.
Yeah, I think showing the proposed location would be helpful. If it's too muddy on this one with all the boxes on it, then at least on the other one with the percentages.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't given a lot of thought of what I'm gonna say. It'll be a lot cleaner than what I'm saying right now, that's for sure. But
Yeah, even like what you have on the side, I'm gonna clean that up a little bit. Like, I'll probably call this slide down the bottom, distribution of incident locations, and then maybe get rid of everything there and, you know, put a picture of the new station and clean it. It'll be, get some panache.
I like panache.
And if we could keep the color, you know, blue and green, because the red, if we take the red and use that as the,
You can do that.
That's a good point too.
Okay.
and I would make it a helmet.
So the reason we called it a heat map in last meeting, so, like when you heat map a town, the locations, like the hotspots, for instance, usually they light up red, and then you, in the town, just, it's almost like a weather map.
Excellent.
I think those will look great, Chief.
Okay, thank you.
The next one, I put together some bullet points of exactly what the design development scope of services gets the town. Because a lot of people, that word means nothing to them. So why are we paying $655,000? It's, you know, have the architect walk through each one of these, and really explain what the change is from schematic design to design development. So
It's definitely a slide. I'll step to the side and let them.
yeah, I'll let the design professional hit this one. I haven't even had them review this yet. This was just something I put together, but this pretty much gets at, you know, what's really taking place during that phase. So
You know what would be helpful too, just for all of us at town meeting, I'm assuming the whole committee will be there. I'd like, if we could possibly sit together, because I'd like to be able to introduce the committee. at town meeting, if it's possible, if there's a flavor for that. I just think it would be nice. And Nate, no, you can't sit in the back corner.
I undo the bulb in the ceiling, so I'm in the only dark spot in the auditorium.
Or we'll just call your names and you can stand up and wave and,
That'll be fine.
okay, you know, maybe not have to sit all together, but, you know, just let me know you're there so I'll mention your names. That would be,
Maybe come up with like a
Yes.
patented dance move or something like that.
Probably on or around like the fourth or fifth, whenever the presentation gets complete. We will sort of need to lock down the list of names of people that will need to speak, so I can get that information to the moderator.
and then, if you can hand out to us, you know, who will be speaking to which slide, so
Yeah.
like a little key.
Yes, I'll put something together on
I'm like, no, you're on number 4.
Yeah.
Number 4.
And we're gonna have to have the names of out of town.
That's what we were just talking about,
Yeah.
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 Including our Mr.
Yeah.
Nunes,
That's true.
yeah.
So this walks through, you know, how the building will be refined, taking it from schematic design to design development. Really all the MEP systems, mechanical, electrical, plumbing are being designed with this now. So the full scope is really being established, final form, size, appearance of the project, and then, you know, going through and refining costs, materials, like it really starts to take shape in this. So, and then a full, you know, project cost and estimate at the end. So, of this to make sure we're on track, but also hopefully we're tracking under what we projected. The next slide, Chief, I could use your help on this a little bit. I think more bullets the better, but you know, why is it needed? You know, and I put in some things that I know obviously, and you know, I could add some more, but things that I think are critical to you we should have on this would be great. So if you could think of some bullets on, you know, the things that you really care about, other than I have here.
Okay.
I would add about the different missions that Lakeville Fire
Yeah.
has. I think that's a key one to speak to, and why the building is what it is.
Right.
I think on a high level thing, I don't know how to capture that in a bullet thing, is it would be better for townspeople to think of less of a building and more of a tool. You know what I mean? I think that if you think of it as something that provides a service instead of like an office building or something like that, you kind of suspend all like your assumptions and things that you think you know about how it should be built, because it is a very peculiar building. It's very unique how it's designed specifically for the mission versus, you know, even like there is some mission essential space here, but this is kind of a very generic setup on a police station, where fire stations aren't like that. And I think that it'll go a long way with some of the people who support the fire station, but have lots of questions about why it's being built the way it's being built. And it's about meeting standards. It's about complying with all kinds of regulations. It's about the mission at hand. So it's almost like you wouldn't tell somebody that's building a septic system, how, you know, we should modify it this way. You're very concerned about the job that it's going to do, and you don't want it to fail. Fire station is the same exact way, and I don't know how you communicate that in a PowerPoint presentation, but that's kind of like the mentality that we need to have. Like it doesn't need all these bells and whistles, but it has to be very, very functional. And when you modify it heavily, then you take away that function. I don't know. I don't know how to.
I think you should just say that.
Does it make sense what I'm saying? Am I
Yeah.
communicating okay? You know, nobody wants poop in their house. You know, like you wouldn't modify. Just kidding.
I think that was
Not a good analogy, no,
All right,
leave that one
I'll
out.
stop right there.
I wrote down some notes, but I think hitting the codes, the standards, if you know, you can hit on the NFPA stuff.
Yeah.
We can hit on the building code stuff, and but
I mean, it's seismic standard. Like there's all these triggers that we will hit that we have to meet, and it's why we're building a new fire station versus renovating the existing one, because it wasn't cost effective to meet all these standards in the existing facility. So it's just a continuation of this this approach by some of the people that we're talking to about these questions that they're asking about why we're building it the way we are. And I think that if you market the building as a tool more than a building, it's maybe a little bit easier for them to understand.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Could we do the why we're doing this before we get into the what we're doing?
That's a good idea.
I think people understanding why we're doing this first and then explaining what we're doing to get where we need to go would make
Yeah.
more sense than going through all the stuff that we're doing and we're gonna be doing and then trying to explain why.
I kind of agree.
Yeah. So where would you suggest we, move that map?
I mean, frankly, I think you could open with it. I think
Why are we
I
here?
literally think you could do it before the project phases because people can understand why we need this, why we're doing this, and then we can get into the details of all the work that's gone into this so far and everything that would be to come if it gets passed.
I like that.
Right, you gotta tell the story. I think you gotta tell the story first. And then hopefully the rest of the stuff starts to make a little bit more sense when they understand the issues that the existing firehouse has and the reasons that we're building the firehouse the way that we are, or designing the firehouse the way that we are.
Yeah, and I just put that picture too of the site, a placeholder. I'm gonna delete that, but I'm gonna put in, I want a picture of the current station.
Yeah.
Like the interior of, maybe I can fit a few on there. The tightness of all the trucks parked, the apparatus bay.
You took some,
Yeah, Molly's got some stills.
Yeah, she has
should
some
tuck-
stills.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my only concern that this is good. I don't know how you can keep this to 15 minutes. I mean, I think if you go over 15 minutes, you lose people. That's my personal thought. I think more photos of the existing station, a visual, could be more effective than this like map. I mean, I don't know. You got to stick to this bullets. I mean, when you said go on, get into the design development scope of services, I mean, read the bullet. I mean, I don't know how much detail you need to get into.
No, I was gonna read the bullets. Because you could talk about that for a long
Oh,
time.
God, yeah. And you're going to lose people.
And even highlight, because if they're gonna be receiving this, chances are they'll be listening and looking versus.
I think, under the why with the photos of the existing station and then the slide, I think would.
Mm-hmm.
so maybe, I mean, I know it's my work, but I do think that maybe the two maps are kind of redundant, like they kind of tell the same story. So if we're looking to trim and make it shorter, I think the percentage map is a little more, and I can add detail to it, like the total calls north of the station, total calls south of the station element to it. I can modify that map and maybe capture a little bit of this in one map instead of two.
Yeah,
Do you think 15 minutes is good? Do you think you need more than 15?
Yeah, no more than 15.
no more. Try to keep it as short as possible.
Yep. No, just hit the points, and that, Chief's gonna read the article, on the floor,
Mhm.
and then we'll get into this.
Do you guys still want Deputy Grant to be on the
Yes.
stage? Okay,
Definitely.
all right.
She's local.
Mm. She's watching, I'm gonna call her, she's a wild card.
With all that being said, in terms of time, would it make sense to move the imagery of the proposed fire station to the last slide so that you could just leave that up on the screen for people to look at
Right on, instead of having questions.
during
Yeah.
discussion and questions? Because that's probably what people are gonna wanna look at the longest.
Mm.
And that way you don't really have to talk to it because it kind of hopefully is somewhat self-explanatory. We don't want to spend a ton of time like explaining to people the layout of the fire station. They can look
Right.
at this information online if they want to go see it.
Mm.
But that way you don't really have to talk to it. You can just put it up on the screen and move on to discussions and questions.
I mean, the action in front of the town is to fund the design, so
Right.
that's gonna kind of take precedence over the end goal of the
Right.
fire station, you know,
Right.
so if you're gonna cut, you gotta make sure we don't short shift the design part of it and
Right.
answer people's questions there.
Right.
Yep.
So, just for,
I like that idea though.
you know, flow and practice, so once the article is read, then the chief will give the motion to the moderator. Then the moderator will ask if you would like to speak to it. And at that point, this will go up. So at the end, instead of, I don't know that we would say, you know, thank you and questions, but I would just say, thank you, and then people that would come up, the moderator would actually,
Right, but I guess my point is you could leave this up on the screen
Yes.
while that was
Yes.
going on, so that people could look at it.
absolutely, I think that's perfect.
So when the moderator says, would you like to speak to the question? You as the chair of the building committee, is that when you make your introduction of the building committee and then throw it to whoever speaks to the slides?
Yeah, I could do that.
All right. Makes sense to me.
Yeah, we'll put a little, quick little 30-minute speech together. That would be brief, just introduction. Okay,
Yeah, I just pulled that, like the imagery, I just put it on the very last slide where it says thank you. I erased questions, it just says thank you and then the imagery.
mhm,
Madam Chair, one more suggestion. I know if just listening to some of the feedback from around town and reading things on the internet, you know, you could very easily go on Google and Google, you know, fire station construction, and a whole bunch of bids will pop up with pricing and stuff like that. And just from the commentary I've seen, there's definitely a lack of understanding. If you're not in the industry of how much is the cost of design for a given project, or what's normal? Because I've already seen comments out there, if we spent $200,000, the guy said all designed already. So you may want to consider amongst your timing things is somehow feed in the information about, you know, a typical design for a building like this is, you know, X percentage of construction, or what, you know,
Yeah,
or a range or something that at least, you know, it's,
Would I be accurate in saying that our ability to separate the cost of feasibility and our preliminary design, things like that, the ability to pay for that basically out of pocket without affecting the tax rate is a tribute to our fiscal responsibility, the fiscal health of Lakeville, and our effort to minimize the amount that's actually ultimately being borrowed. I mean, that's kind of another spin on that, but it's not inaccurate. That's kind of I think that's what we're trying to do. You know, we're not putting it on the tax levy. We're paying for it from existing resources, correct?
mm,
You know, it's not like we're being shady about anything. It's trying to serve the basically best practice, be fiscally responsible.
but again, it's, not to chew on that, but I think you want to keep it, you know, pretty focused. I think people understand through the slide here, which one was it? Maybe on that last slide that, you know, where it talks about the cost and the tax impact, that's where that would come out.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna put in some kind of like current industry standards for, you know, square footage for fire stations of this size. This is typical square footage, you know, architects, you know, between 9 and 11%, you know, things like that. I'll put in some of that stuff that you can speak to. It's a great idea.
And then, you know, we just have to remember as we're doing this that, because I know Bob's really good at keeping us back in here. We're asking about $655,000 from capitalization. This is just providing the information as to why we're here and that why we're asking for this money without diving too deep.
Exactly, yeah. You almost you don't want to do the project a disservice by going down the wormhole of trying to explain the cost of 19.5. Because really at this point, like I said, it's kind of like a crystal ball. As we have more information, then we can really dial in and tell you exactly why and what the materials are going to be, and paint a much better picture You know, at this point, it's just a high level schematic estimate.
Right.
So it is important, you know?
And I think that the committee's been, pretty genuine about, getting this information collected, for town meeting, so that we would have that information, to be able to share and say that, hey, we're moving right along with the project, so.
Any other comments? You don't have to answer everything now, too. If you have any, the next few days, you can send them our way. I'll probably do an update at some point tomorrow, and then I can send it around to everybody. Just be careful of the meeting law, just do reply just to me if you have any comments, that way you're not breaking anything.
Because Larry might have, something, and Kate and
Yeah, the other committee members.
Peter, right.
I think it's important to just get the factual information out, not have too much information that it's overwhelming, but just focus on what we need to move forward with the project now.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be back in front of town meeting for the final ask to push the project along to the next phase.
Yep. Everybody good?
I'm good.
We're good? We're good. Here, I'll give you mine.
Oh, you have comments? Thank you.
Little stuff. All right, anything else under the marketing plan? I think we've covered everything that I had on my list. Is there anything else that anybody had before?
I don't know, is there anything specific needed for the open house?
Well, we have the signboards that we got for Lakeville Day. What I'm imagining, or what I pictured in my head, is that it's not gonna be a conventional open house where we have everything out on display. I want the base crowded. Maybe we'll have a truck halfway in and out, so they see the width of the stalls. And we'll have a select few members of the department that will be on hand to answer questions and give tours, so we can control the message. And that's what I had pictured. If there's some kids that do show up, we'll have sort of plastic fire hats and things to hand out, but that's not gonna be the focus of the event.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'll be there, so.
Excellent, thank you. Yeah, if the committee wants to participate and show up, that would be awesome. So,
We of course have a groundbreaking at 9:30 the same day, so we'll be a little late, or I will be. I don't know if I'm gonna make.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able
but,
to make it.
but I'll be there, hopefully around 11:30 or so.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I shared a funny story with the chief. I think I passed it along to Nate too. My daughter, who lives in my house, said, "We're building a new fire station? What's this open house?" I'm like, oh my gosh, did I not get the message? It made me stop to think. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I must not be talking about it at home or something, but yeah, I just thought that was,
She needs to go to the open house.
dialed me. Oh, she'll be there. Yeah, she'll be there. She'll bring in my grandson. All right. So as far as the schedule is concerned, I think that our next scheduled meeting is after, or then we're not discuss the schedule of our events, or next meeting. I put this together and I don't even know. When is our next scheduled meeting, Christina? Do we have it off the top of your head?
3 weeks. Because because May was a 5-week month, so it backed us out a little bit in June.
Should be June 12th, right?
Yes. So
Which should
it'll
be perfect, because it's right after town
right
meeting.
after town meeting. Yep. Okay.
So we're gonna know if we're moving forward or we're putting the brakes on.
Mm.
And hopefully it's moving forward.
All right, 6:12, 6:30. All right, and do we have any invoices this evening?
We do not.
Okay. I know that there are minutes that have made it to the packet. Did everybody get a chance to take a look at those? This is from March 19th, 2024. It was our 2 p.m. Remote meeting that we had. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of March 19th, 2024.
So move.
Well, I was gonna entertain a motion, somebody has to make the motion, so. Nate,
Oh, you
you're
made-
so
did you
good.
make it?
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? Christina, I just have a couple of, grammatical things, and so I'll just hand those over to you. And hearing none, roll call, please.
Brian, aye?
Carboni, aye.
McCullough, aye.
Simon, I.
Darling, aye.
Noon's eye.
Excellent, minutes are passed. And any old business to come in front of us? New business? Okay, well then I'll adjourn at 7:17.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very, very much.